NBA Finals preview, man. OKC is going up against the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers had an interesting run to get there, and it was exciting to say the least as well too. First round they beat the Bucks. Second round they beat the top rated team in the Eastern Conference, the Cavs, and then they beat this star-studded team with the New York Knicks. And the OKC side of things, BTA everywhere they went except the second round, obviously, but BTA to Memphis Grizzlies and won 7 games with the reigning MVP at the time, Nikola Jokic, and then also conference finals, BTA 4-1 with the Minnesota Timberwolves as well too. So obviously, we can kind of agree that regular season doesn't necessarily mean anything, but you can kind of look at the regular season to kind of help make predictions as well too. So OKC ended up winning both games respectively. One of them was pretty close, the December game. I mean, no, the March game. The December game was a lot less. So OKC won the regular season series 2 games to 0. December game was 120 to 114. The March game was 132 to 111. In both of those games, Chet Holmgren didn't play. In the last game, Matherin didn't play. And then in the second game, Chet, Aaron Wiggins, and Jay Williams, not the All-Star, but the other Jay Williams didn't play as well too. So tail of the tape for these teams, at least in the playoffs as well right now. These teams are both top three in points per game. OKC is clearly the better defensive team, being a top five defensive team. And throughout the entire playoffs, if you look at the numbers, the Pacers were number 13th. Both pretty much marry each other with field goal percentage being around 47%. 3-point percentage that goes to goes to the Indiana Pacers as well too. Free throws go to the Pacers as well too, and points in transition as well too. So it's going to be a dogfight, man. I want to hear your thoughts on this finals matchup. I know a lot of people wanted to see a different team, but honestly, I think this is good. Like if you're a basketball fan as opposed to just a casual watcher, like it shouldn't really matter about non-small market teams. Not always making it. I'm a fan of small market teams, and like we said, this is kind of debunking always having to tweak your roster and add stars there, and these teams are kind of doing it organically, which I can appreciate. But what are your thoughts on this NBA Finals this year? What's your breakdown? Who you think is going to win, man?
Man, first off, I had to watch the Miami Heat in the finals twice in the past couple of years. So I think both of these teams are going to be much more fun to watch and play better than them. Um, but also it's interesting, like I get it, they're in Oklahoma City and like by definition they're a small market team, but I don't think OKC's been actually a small market team since like 2008 or something. Like once they got KD, they've been the most talked about small market team in the league for the past almost 20 years now.
Hmm.
Um, I think they've always maintained relevance, even in like maybe only for the 1 year that they were bad. I think they had 1 year where they were bad after they got rid of like Chris Paul. Um, but otherwise, it's like they've always had a player that has brought the attention and that the media talks about. Because there's other guys like, of course, I'll bring up Cade in Detroit, who like played amazing this year, but he didn't really get talked about on any of the talk shows, or anything like that until the postseason came. And even then, they didn't really talk about him a whole lot. So I just think that the Thunder have always had somebody who has kept them relevant and in a way that pretty much no other small market team usually is. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that aside, I think OKC is going to win. I think that they have been, again, I think also, sometimes a super team, I feel like a lot of times when we talk about super teams, we are putting them in perspective of history. But I think,
Yeah.
at least for me, putting them in perspective of this season and the current state of the league, they are and have been head and shoulders above all these other teams.
Yeah.
They proved it with their record. They proved it with the one of the best point differentials ever. They proved it this entire run. I don't see a team like the Pacers being able to overcome the defensive tenacity that they have. Uh, and again, the Pacers, I think, are on like kind of like a magical run. And I don't say that to discredit them because I think they're a good team, but I think
Yeah.
they've been hitting a lot of really important shots, which is credit to them. but I just don't know if that's the style that's going to beat OKC. Um, I just think that they're so deep, they're so talented defensively with like almost all their players that it's just going to really be a dogfight. I think it'll be a good couple of games, but honestly, I
Mm,
would take OKC in five.
mm, damn, five. You know what's crazy? I said in five as well too. But just because of this little Cinderella run, maybe getting right hot at the right time is working in their favor. Out of respect, I'm gonna just say six. But at first, I did have five as well too. But I know you said that the Indiana Pacers had the best depth. I'm only going to give it to OKC just because of their two-way prowess. Damn near everyone can defend at a high level, which I like as well too. But
I mean, OKC would
coaching,
definitely be my second on that list of depth as well. So it's not crazy to say that they could be
yeah,
interchangeable.
it's not, yeah, not crazy, not far off as well too. But and just looking at how they play, like Indiana has their identity, right? They're gonna try to get a lot of points off transition. They're gonna press you full court, and like you said, it's always a tough task where for the opposing team where you think in your head is going to be Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal that you have to shut down, but it's really the others that kind of keep them afloat as well too. And just looking at the teams that the NN Pacers have been through, the Bucks were not a great defensive team whatsoever. The Cavs obviously had their share of injuries as well too, but you take away Mobley and Allen, who on that team like do you trust to string along some defensive stops, especially with that small backcourt? And then, like you said, with Karl Anthony Towns and with Jalen Brunson, you're going to have the decision to make. Like both of them are defensive liabilities, and that kind of showed. And they didn't play their depth, so
Barbecue
they like to do their
chicken.
little four court press, barbecue chicken. They like to have their little full court press that they do. And I was watching both of their games earlier, like I said, Chet didn't play. So they did have Hartenstein at the five. But one thing that I did notice that they played Case and Wallace. And he provided those off ball duties. So sometimes Shea would be the one that would get pressed, but he would just and then he would be the one bringing the ball to the court. But they wanted to kind of conserve his energy. And obviously he's a three-level scorer and really plays in the half court set. So Wallace brought the ball up a lot as well too. So I'm curious to see like are they going to start off with the starting five with Chet and with Hardenstein in the front court?
Yeah.
And Lou Dort, we'll see. But I'm probably going to go with the starting five that they have. But they have multiple playmakers, so that full court press should work against the Knicks because they don't play anybody. But now
Hmm.
you got, like I said, Case and Wallace, you got Shea Gilgeous Alexander, you got J Dub, you got Alex Caruso. All these guys can bring the ball up the court and can play make as well too. Even Hartenstein had some good amount of assists, passing out of the high post, passing out the post and the low post as well too. Um, and defensively, like there was really like they try to pressure Tyrese a little bit in the last series, but Lou Dort about to be a dog, bro. Lou Dort about to be a dog, and I'm curious to see like what Tyrese Halliburton is gonna do if we just look at his history in the playoffs and even in the regular seasons, he's going to have a couple games, maybe one or two, where he probably scores below 10 points. And I feel like now more than ever, you're gonna need your stars to show up. Like I know they're built on their depth, but I feel like Tyrese really gotta play at a high level and just be even more aggressive than he was, along with Pascal Siakam. So we'll see how that kind of pans out. But Jalen Williams, I don't like I, with the Indiana Pacers, bro. Like they're not a great defensive team, but they give a lot of effort, and I just feel like there's it's just a mismatch with a lot of different OKC personnel too. So I don't see them. They thrive off the transition, like I said, the Pacers do. OKC that really doesn't play with their food. I know Indiana has made a lot of different crazy comebacks down 15, 20 plus, at least from what I've seen OKC this year in the playoffs. When they're up, they keep their fucking foot on the gas. So I don't really
Yeah.
see them really
Them
blowing
20
leads
point
like that.
comebacks is not happening. Yeah.
it's not happening. It's not happening. Like Naismith, if you're on, then I'm gonna stick to you like glue. I'm not just gonna keep switching off and all this other stuff. So I think they're gonna be
Also, I
locked in
think that
defense.
Caruso is the like, of course, yeah, Dort is gonna lock up, but I think Caruso has been their best defender this whole playoffs. And
Absolutely.
he's showing again, the last time he was on a good team, they won the championship,
Won
and
the
that was the
championship.
Lakers. And
Yeah,
he was on the Bulls, and unfortunately, I think things just didn't work out because they had a lot of injuries on the Bulls.
yeah.
But they had him wasting away, and now he first year back on a good team, they're in the NBA Finals. He's
Mhm.
like the type of player that I think you add to a good team that makes you a championship team.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, even though they both pretty much average, well, it's crazy because OKC was the league leader in points per game this year. I know a lot of people talk high of or speak highly of the Indiana Pacers. They just as good, but like you said, the edge I think is their defense. So I'm curious to see what game plans that they come up with, and I'm curious to see like how they get Tyrese Halliburton off of his game, and I want to see that Pascal Siakam matchup because in the regular season, like I said, Chet didn't play, and the primary defender they shuffled a lot of different bodies on him to make sure he never got truly comfortable. But the primary defender, at least in those two regular season games, was Hartenstein. But you can switch things up. Like you can still put Hartenstein on Pascal, and then if you just want a little bit more versatility, because I know what's the center's name? Miles Turner stretches the floor so you can have Chet there, but you can get a OKC so versatile. Like you can get like we saw Alex Caruso guard Joker and bother him and was fronting him and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see like how they take these two stars off their game. So I'm looking forward to it. I think Indiana's probably I can see them like in order for them to extend the series, like I think they're going to definitely win one home game, but I mean both teams have kind of been well rested, but you know those game ones be the most feel out weird ass games. So if they do extend the series, they're going to have to take game one and like I said I think they're going to win the game at home,
Mhm.
but like I said, logically I want to say five, but just because out of respect and shit can be kind of crazy, I'm just gonna say six. I hope I'm wrong though, but I got OKC in six. I got Shea winning Finals MVP, and I got like what you said, them becoming the next quote unquote super team as well too. Um, we'll see, we'll see. You're not gonna speed Shea Gilgeous Alexander up, bro. You're not gonna
Not at
speed him
all.
up, bro. And they don't have any. Yeah, and Jalen Williams is he was another person I was so concerned about this playoffs, and he's been relatively pretty consistent as of late. And I think he's just gonna have a field day, especially from what I saw in the regular season. So I think OKC got
Clear
it,
like
man.
the games where I'm pretty sure like almost every time he's at a good game, they've won. Now,
Exactly. And then when you add in, like you say, your boy Chet just giving you 15 to 18 is
mhm.
damn near for certain that they're gonna win the game as well, too. And I think they had a regular season stat and including the playoffs when they hold their team under like 101 points, they're undefeated the whole year. So
Right.
it's gonna be interesting, man. So I think it's still gonna be exciting. I hope the games are close, but I can definitely see on both sides like a blowout. I can see a blowout, like a home team blowing them out at least once, but hopefully, other than that, like the games are relatively pretty close. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a good finals. I'll say that for sure. I don't care about that whole, small market team. It doesn't really, the players are all that matters. Like it doesn't matter where the fuck you play at. So
Yeah. Because I mean, Boston's one of the biggest markets, or not, if not the biggest behind LA. And then I think Dallas is in top 10 with everything considered with basketball. And that series was mid last year. You know what I'm saying? So people should be excited this year. And like you said, we got Denver versus the Heat. I was happy for Joker's greatness and him getting his first ring, but that didn't end well. So hopefully this year we get to see that. And from that, we're gonna have a lot of more organic homegrown teams with minimal trades and really just building from the draft. And like you said, utilizing that depth as well too. So I'm looking forward
also,
to it.
I will say quickly, I think people are gonna start to come back and appreciate what we had in Steph versus LeBron. I think like when it was happening the same way, honestly, I feel like it happened with the Bulls. And I hear older people talk about like when it was happening, it's like, damn, them again in the finals, but like every single finals was entertaining. It was fun. It was good. Since then, it's been hit or miss, like some have been bad, some have been good. Like I just think sometimes like, yeah, you have these same teams playing, but they are good teams. They have great players and it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. We definitely, as a whole society or basketball culture, definitely took those teams and took those runs, took those years for granted. And it's crazy because like it's low key kind of feeling. I mean, I know the Patriots had their little run and the Chiefs were doing something kind of crazy as well too, but like I really feel like 10 years from now, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, outside of the whole OKC situation, obviously like health, plays a big role in, success of a team winning the championship. But like I wouldn't be surprised like if we see multiple first time champions within the next 10 years.
Yeah,
So we'll
it's
see,
already
man.
been
Any
happening.
closing remarks? Wait, what would you say?
I just said it's already been happening.
Yeah, already been happening. Saying we're about
Yeah.
to, and whether we like it or not, we're gonna see one this year. Boston
Yeah.
failed us.
OKC
Boston
hasn't ever
failed us
won
this
anything. It was the Supersonics that won something back in like the 70s or something, I want to say. So,
70s. Yeah,
yeah.
damn. So yeah, this gonna be